refrain from direct participation. All church members who are present are requested to confirm their presence for the record by signing one of the attendance sheets that are being circulated. If you've not yet signed in, please raise your hand or make your need made known to one of the tellers, and they'll bring an attendance sheet to you. I ask that Pastor Matt please come forward at this time and lead us in an opening prayer.
If you know this, join in right away. If you don't, come in on the second time around. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. The text is maybe a little challenging, but the second time I know we'll get it. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Gracious Lord, be with us now as we gather in meeting. We have worshiped you and we have been fed by Jesus, and now we seek to transact the business of the church, which is to serve you and in this place and to strengthen our fellowship. Help us to do that with honesty, with clear communication, and with lots of love. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Matt. According to Article 8 of our bylaws, 10% of the stated active membership shall constitute a quorum to transact business at a meeting of the church. The stated membership as of this date is 395. Therefore, I call upon our church clerk, Pat Evans, to verify that we have at least 40 members present.
We have a quorum.
And we have 40. I would like to identify those who have agreed to serve as tellers for this meeting. They are Bob Johnson and Jim Zajac. If any member has a question or comment, please raise your hand and the tellers will come to you with a microphone. Please remember to always state your name when you speak so that we have an accurate record. We ask that you use the microphone so that all present can hear and so the meeting can be recorded. Also, according to Article 8 of our bylaws, all meetings of this church shall be conducted according to Robert's Rules of Order. In order that parliamentary procedure is followed, I have appointed Bob Johnson as our parliamentary procedure consultant for this meeting. I now call to order this meeting of the First Congregational United Church of Christ of Oconomowoc, Incorporated. Electronic copies of the agenda and reports were emailed to all members 2 weeks ago. Hard copies were available in the narthex. If you need a hard copy of any of these documents, please raise your hand and a teller will bring them to you. The first order of business this morning is the acceptance of the report from our review committee. Under Article 10, Section C, Paragraph 8 of the leadership team is required to appoint a committee to review the church's financial accounts. I would have asked that Bob Freck, our co-treasurer, to come forward and present the committee's report, but Bob's in Iowa right now celebrating an early Mother's Day. And since it was Mother's Day, I really couldn't give him too much credit about it. He asked that I make the following comments. First, that we certainly, as a church, appreciate the time and effort that Zach Zercho took to perform the review. Zach is a CPA who recently joined our church along with his wife, Brooke, and son, Graham. Bob made a little... Pardon?
And daughter Shay.
Thank you. I said there's somebody else I should know about, but I don't know daughter Shay's name. We also thank Dan Wiley and John Evans, who have done the review in the past. Second, the focus of this review, as noted in the report, is to affirm that the balance sheet and financial reports are accurate and properly reflect the church's financial position as of the end of the year, December 31st of 2023. The review found this to be true with no exceptions noted. I would now accept a motion to approve the report as written. Lois Jackson. Is there a second? Dan Moldenhauer. Is there any discussion? Bob, could you get a mic to mic off?
Yeah, Mike off. Is this the budget that we're approving so far?
No, this is simply I use the word audit carefully because my son's a auditor, and he says when you audit, that has legal implications.
In other words, this is last year's audit?
This is last year's audit,
Okay.
basically saying they went through the books, they didn't find any abnormalities, everything matched up, and everything's cool.
Okay, has nothing to do with this year yet?
No,
Okay.
nothing.
Chris,
Are
the
there-
official name for it is called a review.
Correct, it's a review, it's not an audit.
Oh, and somebody has left a phone out on the deck, out in the larynx.
In the larynx, in the narthex.
You know, out by the coffee room.
There you go.
I don't know whose it is. But if you think you got your phone, look in your pocket. Probably Dan, right?
Is there any other discussion in regards to the motion on, before us? Any other discussion? There not being none, I now call for a vote. Those all in favor of approving the review committee report, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The vote carries. The rest of the agenda is dedicated to the various ministries, committees, and task groups that give reports of their recent activities and to highlight any upcoming events they wish to bring to the congregation's attention. Many of them prepared written reports that were emailed to you or may have hard copy in your hands at this time. First to report is our senior pastor, Matt, who would, if you would come forward now and if you want to expand on what you sent out.
As you all know, I have no problem putting more words into the space. So I've provided words here that are printed, and I'm just going to kind of let that stand, except to underscore the thank you for the privilege of being able to work among a people who take seriously their mission and who love each other and who work well together, even through the rocky places. There's rocky places, it's okay, we're humans, but we work things out well, and I'm really grateful for that, and I'm looking forward to all the times that are to come. And I would just simply say, I'm here to answer questions. If you have a question that you want to have answered that I could say something about, please offer that now. Otherwise, my report is as stands. Grazie.
Thank you, Matt. Next up is to our Director of Youth Development, Amy, but I didn't see Amy today. She's not here today. So she did offer a report. If you have any questions for that, I would suggest that you email Amy, and I'm sure she'll get back to you and give you a response. Next up is our co-treasurer, George Moeller, who will give us a brief outlook of where we are financially right now. Brief.
Good morning, all. We've really completed about a quarter of the year to date. Our paperwork is through the end of March. I'm pleased to say that our income side of the ledger is ahead of plan. Our pledged income, part of which is because some members prepaid their pledges in December for the coming year, so part of that pledged income is a little inflated, but we're our pledged goal for the year was $250,000, and to date we've raised $114,000, so we're 46% of our goal through the first quarter. So from the income side, we're doing very well. We had a great rummage sale, which just occurred, which provided about an additional $16,000 to $17,000 to our church funding. So income looks great. From an expense standpoint, the administrative ministry is a little ahead of their expenses, primarily due to some property and grounds maintenance work as well as some IT support costs that we are incurring because we've hired an IT person to help us clean up some of those areas. So that's contributed a little bit to the expense side. So overall, we're in excellent shape financially. I'd entertain any questions anyone has. Mike, I assume you have a question.
Yes, you're up there giving the pros and cons, of pluses and minuses, but yet there's no line item. I don't have any numbers in front of me. For years, you used to be able to, and I can't seriously vote on something that I can't see where it's going. It's taken their word for it that this expense, we're meeting up to this where we can cut expenses. It's line item, and let's be transparent about it. I imagine there's other people that worry about it and maybe afraid to say something. But I'd like to know why we don't receive that anymore.
Just to clarify, there's no vote on this. This is simply a report or a notice. But if you want a updated financial thing or report like with details like that, we could share you one, or you could talk to Bob. Bob Frickin, he can email you one. But yeah, we generally don't prepare a full financial report for this particular meeting. We're basically just saying things look good right now. We're cash heavy, but as George explained, some of that may be due to people giving upfront an annual account or an annual amount. So, but we're not trying to hide anything. If you want to, George can show you what he's been talking from right now. Anybody else?
Are there any other questions? All right, thank you.
Yeah, George, why don't you show that to him when we have a chance?
Chris, I got one.
Okay.
Late addendum to my report, I realized that I missed another big happening. A number of you have come through the offices and looked at my office, come in to talk to me or whatever, and what you found in the last 10 months has been essentially what looks like a dorm room. In the last month, there's been a real transformation there. Barb Moeller has been a part of that. Mr. Russ Fry has been a part of that. There's been some conspiracy going on. I really appreciate that very much, but you should come down and see it. They've done a beautiful job. It's still a work in progress, but it's on its way.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. I didn't realize you had a carpet in that place. All right, we're going to move on to the ministries. First up is Dan Moldenhauer and Administrative Ministry.
Morning, everyone. Just to give you a quick update about what we've been doing. In March, we started a work Saturday. So one Saturday a month, we are coming here to work on something at our grounds. First month was to clean up from the winter, sticks, leaves, branches, and all of that. Second month was to come in and put mulch around the church. In May, we are going to trim back some trees, clean out the gutters, stuff like that. Everyone is welcome. It's not just the admin people. Our next work day is Saturday the 18th, I believe, and it is from 10:30 until 10 to roughly 11:30, depending on what we get done. I know the big question you probably have for us is, where are we with our insurance? And the answer is, we are nowhere fast. We have hired our appraiser to come in. His name is John Radin. He is from Rockford. He has been here and he has done a preliminary walkthrough of our grounds. The insurance company, Cincinnati Insurance, has hired their appraiser, which I believe is Gundy or Grundy, and they're out of Madison, but their appraiser is coming from Texas. We don't know when they are coming here. It is supposed to be quote unquote soon. Whatever soon means, they will be here, and at some point in time, both appraisers have to go through our grounds completely to make sure everything, that they can agree, or in this case, disagree on, before we get to the part where we come together with a third party and they each present their case. Along those lines, we have purchased and we have received, not here, at our contractor's location, a new HVAC unit that goes directly above the music room. That cannot be put in place until both appraisers have come and done their work, so that they can look and see what the current unit is before we can replace it. That money is accounted for from the insurance company, so we are good to go with that. We have the funds for it. That's why we purchased it ahead of time, instead of waiting until after the appraisers have gone through and then waiting 6 weeks to receive it, and then we'd be in the middle of summer without air conditioning. So that will be placed or installed as soon as the appraisers have gone through. Along those lines, there's other things we are waiting to do. I know Rich went ahead and he pressure washed the front area and made it look nice and clean, and everything looked great for last Saturday's conference that was here. We would like to do that to the back side of the church. Well, we can't do that and then risk peeling paint or causing any damage back there until the appraisers have come through. So we are really in a catch-22. We have a lot of things that we would like to do, but we have to wait for them. And as soon as I know that, when that meeting is going to happen, I am gladly able to share it with everyone, but right now I just don't. Another update that we have, the pavilion has gone through some changes. There have been new lights that have been installed back there. They are LED lights, thanks to a generous donation from church members. Jim and a bunch of the men's group are working on replacing the pulleys and the ropes to make the sides come up and down a lot easier. And like I said, we plan on doing work around the church. There's tons of things that go on here every day that I'm grateful that I have a bunch of retired gentlemen working for the admin committee that are able to do, be it replace the toilet, fix the water fountain, you name it. Thank you to everyone who's on admin and who donates their time during the day while I'm at work. That is all I really have right now, except for questions that you may have for us. Mike.
I'm not going to stand up, but my question is, with the insurance adjusters and all that, you say you don't know, quote, when they're going to come soon. Air conditioner, if they keep on prolonging it, we'll be without air conditioning come July. And what do we do then?
We have, and let me give me a second to think here. I believe there's 16 heating and air conditioning units throughout this entire church. This is just one of them. That's a rooftop unit, and I believe it mainly does the addition that was 2002, I want to say. So it's not like we're going to be without AC for the entire church. It's just that one area, and as of right now, it's not working. So if you haven't noticed it already, like today, you can feel the air on right now, so it's not affecting this area. And Garth, our adjuster, he knows the urgency we have of getting this done, just like when we replaced the roof. We told him we were not going to go through another winter with the old roof intact, and he understood that. It's the same for the Head Start entrance that was down there. The state was going to start fining Head Start because the paint was chipping and the entrance didn't come to code. We told Garth, we have to get this replaced. The state will fine them. He understood that. He also understands that we need to get this done before June 1st. It's pretty much a drop dead date that I've told him. I want to get this air conditioning unit in before June 1st. He knows that. Right now we're at May 4th, 5th, so we're closing in rapidly. The good thing is the air conditioning unit is here. We don't have to order it. So as soon as we know we can go and get it installed, our heating and air contractor, Due North Heating and Cooling, has the unit already. They just need the okay to go ahead and put it in. that answer your question? Yeah, no problem. Anyone else? Bueller?
Dave Ferris, is there other hail damage that's causing a problem now or very soon?
There's, that's, I guess, where we're stuck now, because we, as a church and our appraisers, feel that there's damage to the siding, some of the windows, and the insurance company, we are differing on how it gets fixed or replaced. We're also differing on the rubber roof that's above the church, on how that gets fixed and or replaced. So unfortunately, like I said, we are at a stalemate right now, because their appraiser has to come, our appraiser has to come, they meet, they talk, they disagree on how it gets fixed and what needs to get fixed. Then we go to a third-party judge or an umpire, and they each present their cases, and we go from there. And unfortunately, it's been now, we are approaching 2 years into this process. And this is what the insurance company loves to do. They love to slow walk everything and hope we'll just, you know, okay, fine, it is what it is. We'll take whatever money you gave us and be happy with it. Well, we aren't happy with their offer, so that's why we've gone down this path. But there is nothing right now, like the roof was our big concern. We wanted to get a new roof because that roof was old and it was starting to leak. Start with the top, work our way down. It's not like the siding is causing leaks into the building as of right now. Anyone else? Perfect, thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Andy, you're next. Stewardship.
Okay. So this might be a difficult question. Does anybody know what this is that I'm holding up? It's funny that it's my wife that points that out, but so why am I holding this up? Well, I was using the restroom after church, after service, and I happened to notice that one of these pictures says, "So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love." And you're thinking, well, what does that have to do with stewardship, right? But first of all, thank you, Pastor Matt. That was a very inspirational message talking about abide. And I saw that and I just couldn't help think this is another God moment, right? We like to have God moments. And stewardship historically is one of those periods of time in the fall that we think about the budget and the new year coming up. And that's when we think about stewardship. And our point this year as a group of folks committed to the stewardship ministry are hoping to make stewardship visible all year round. It's not just a moment in the fall that we worry about budgets and things like that. Stewardship is abiding with others. It's pooling our resources together. It's working together. It's doing God's work together with each other and abiding with each other. And I think that's really a cool moment to have that be today, that we're talking about the ministries and the things, the important work that our church is doing, but we're doing it in God's love and in God's name, and I think that's really awesome. I stand by the report that I submitted that you're looking at. I did want to highlight a few things. First of all, Dan Moldenhauer worked with us to create that steeple image last fall, which is really cool, and we very much appreciate that. What we're hoping to do is to make the work of our church more visible all year round, not just in that period in the fall. So part of that is the financial side, right? We try not to focus that that's the only important thing in our church. Equally as important, as I stated, is the work that we're doing together. It's the times like the rummage sale volunteers. It's when the car show comes up. It's the golf outing. All those things take faith and they take cooperation and they take fun and laughter and tears sometimes as well. And that's what we want to focus is, it's not just about the money. It's about being together as a church and going out and doing God's work, not just in our walls, but going out and being the people of God. So just want to highlight that there will be more examples of those kind of visual things that you'll see year round. And our mission moments that we talk about stewardship monthly is to highlight the opportunities that we have as a church to grow together and work together. So, thank you. Any questions?
Thanks.
I'll put this back.
I was going to put that. I can guess what wall's it on since your wife saw it. Mission and Pam Van Henry. Thank you.
So my mission report stands. I did not have totals for the singing collection for Family Promise or Hearts and Hands or One Great Hour of Sharing. I do have them now, but I didn't bring them with me, so they will be in the next branches. The Habitat for Humanity, I just want to clarify, we do meet monthly from September through May. So May will be our last Habitat for Humanity until September. Any questions?
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Education. I wasn't sure who was going to do it, so Emily.
We weren't sure up until a few minutes ago
Okay.
either.
Hi, everybody. We don't have a written report submitted because it would have been very redundant of Amy's report and all the things that she does in her role. We do various things throughout the year, but I'm going to just highlight on what's going on presently and things coming up. Confirmation will be celebrated in the next couple of weeks, 2 weekends from now, actually. Putting a lot of planning right now into VBS, which will be June 25th through the 27th. As always, looking for volunteers for any time you can give. Really, that stands for Sunday school as well. We feel really blessed that we've had an up in attendance by the children over the last, compared to the last few years, a stable group in all age ranges and a lot of relationships being formed. Still needing some help to kind of alleviate the small group of teachers we have. Amy couldn't make it easier on you. No prep involved or anything, we just need your time. And let's see. Youth group has also been going very, very well this year. Really good attendance with that as well. Outreach this summer, we're planning on 2 farmers markets attendance. And that would also be another thing. We could use more people to pass out some favors. We're going to do like some more type of giveaway to link to the VBS theme. So Randy Bordeaux would be an excellent contact for that if you are interested in helping us out. I think that is it.
Any questions?
Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Emily. Appreciate it. Next up, spirituality. Mickey.
There are only a couple of things we need to highlight. First of all, we always need more volunteers in the AV department. That would be really nice, but the other thing is that we've got the music program Sunday coming up June 2nd, and the outdoor worship services this year are not the Sunday at the end of the month, they're in the middle. June 16th, July 14th, and August 11th. Other than that, I think it's self-explanatory.
Questions? All right. Thank you, Mickey. Welcoming.
Okay, welcoming, basically the title is the main mission of what we do. Hopefully we're as welcoming as possible, and it's through fellowship hour. If you had anything to do with that this year, I want to thank you. You will continue to be asked. Welcoming, and then the greeters. Linda Davis is in charge of new memberships. We are looking at potlucks, just thinking of things that bring people together, bring our membership together. Questions? Lois?
Do I need a microphone or?
Can you guys get her a microphone,
I can just speak loudly.
I can hear you.
No, I'm just curious. I know how difficult it is. Thank you. Lois Jackson. I know how difficult it is to find volunteers to do the fellowship time. And I'm wondering if you don't have enough volunteers, would it be appropriate not to have treats some Sunday, just coffee or something? And then we might get more volunteers if they understand that the same people can't just keep doing it over and over again.
Well, we've got a new time and talent sheet, and so I'm going to be looking at that carefully and looking for people who have signed up for it that hadn't been on the time and talent sheet. So hopefully we're going to spread the wealth a little bit. The other thing we're really aware of is that luckily the numbers are increasing at fellowship hours, so you need more treats. And so I'm trying to bring not just one couple, but at least a third person in there, because it's some work.
Yes.
So yeah, we're trying to make it better. But thank you, Lois.
Anyone else? Thanks, Mark.
Oh, back row.
Oh, back row.
Sue Zajac. And the other thing that's working out well is if we have a committee monthly that takes away some of the.
The ministry takes on a fellowship.
Yeah,
Once a
a
month.
ministry taking the lead fellowship.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Spreading the wealth a little bit.
Yep.
Okay. All right, moving along, we're now going to hear from the various committees, task groups. And in order to be as efficient as possible, I may be calling them up in groups which I perceive as having similar activity. For example, Memorial Garden Committee and Landscaping Committee. So does Fred or Ari have anything they want to add? Or any questions for those two groups? Mike, go ahead.
With the Memorial Garden, with the path, the concrete path down to the Memorial Garden, I've had people come up to me and say there should be they would prefer a handrail there because it's a slope, and I got an email from a party in the church saying, well, if we put handrails there, we should put handrails by all the entrances. Well, they're flat. And he also said, if need be, there's wheelchairs, walkers, and canes at the church, but if the church is closed, and yet there is no cane or walkers. So it would be greatly appreciated if they would have handrails there.
Gotcha.
I second the handrail idea. I am very willing to begin the donation and keep track of that. I think it is extremely important that we get that there. I'm not going in a wheelchair and I don't need a cane, but I still think it's a safe thing to do.
Okay. Let me just address what Lois, and then we'll get to you. We were made aware of this. Matt and I were made aware of this last week. We've talked to Fred, and it's now in front of the Memorial Garden Committee, since that's the group that controls that. That's the process we should follow. And we're going to wait for the Memorial Garden to make a decision as to if and how or when we're going to address the handrail issue. So we know it's going to happen. We're aware of it. It's just it's got to go through the proper channels. Lois.
Lois Jackson. I feel very strongly about that. We have a bench down there in the area in memory of our son, and my plaque is down there. That's where my ashes will be. I have no way to walk down there right now. I use a cane, but I still have to have a railing for balance, and I think it's extremely important. I've already contributed money towards that particular thing, and I'm certainly willing to do more. I don't know if we've had an estimate yet on the cost of a railing down there. I was told that they were looking into that, but I don't know if that's happened yet.
Well, and that's part of the process. Memorial Garden is addressing it. They will get a bid and put together the package, and if it makes sense, we'll move forward on it. Okay. So
If it makes sense.
well, it has to do with. I know that Mike has an issue about mowing because you have to mow it. Well, that then goes into where do you put the railing on the concrete to avoid that issue. There's how tall, how high does the rail have to be? How long, where do you start it? Where do you end it? There's a lot of it's some design issues that need to go through. And again, I don't want to usurp Memorial Garden's position on that. That's their gig. And once they've come to that conclusion, then they'll come to the leadership team or they'll come to Matt and they'll express what their thoughts are on how they make that happen. I think we very clearly understand you want this to happen sooner rather than later.
I'm only one person.
I understand.
Well, you're not the only person.
Yeah, but you're not the only.
Well, I'm on that committee, and it is probably one of the top 2 or 3 things the Memorial Garden Committee is working on. And there's even been some suggestions that maybe an alternate would be a golf cart to take people down there.
No.
That's just like I said,
No.
we're taking input.
We want to be able to go down there anytime we want to.
Well,
I mean, Donson, we're going to be, our ashes are there, my sister and brother-in-law's ashes are already there. And I want to be able to go down there, and I don't want to have to worry about a golf cart. I've seen lots of places where there's a railing, but why is that such a big deal?
It's not such a big deal.
Well, it sounds like it from this discussion.
No, it's something we're working on. Okay?
Anything else? Mike?
I'll just say it, the sooner they get on this, the better. Because the way meetings go, you gotta have this meeting. I've been involved in other things where, well, I gotta check with this one. We know it has to be done, so let's get the ball rolling. Now wait
Okay.
till-
I think the Memorial Garden has heard you loud and clear. Hearts and Hands Preschool is a very vital part of our church mission. And Cindy,
And then I'll do rummage. I'm Jill too.
oh, you're Jill too.
I'm Cindy and Jill, all in one day.
Jill sent me some text because she got a copy of, this is how dedicated Jill Ryman is, all right?
She's in Rome.
She's
by the
in
way.
Rome, and she's reading this.
Yes.
And she said, I didn't see this, or what, something to that effect. I'm going,
Just go have some wine.
I said,
Jill,
what, you should be thinking about where your gelato was coming from.
Right. Go back to having your tea. Cindy Mecco Preschool Committee, and I'm Jill. Just 2 things for preschool. Great year. Our numbers are huge next year. We will almost be completely full. And so we are looking at using the Head Start room. God works in some mysterious ways. We are so saddened that Head Start will be gone. But I'm not sure. I mean, we had some plans if we didn't have room, but we probably will be taking over their classroom. So at least their classroom is used. It doesn't mean that I want them gone. It saddens me to no end. But because they are going, we have room for all the kids that God is sending us our way next year. So God really does work in some mysterious ways. And next year's is 20 years, 20 years. So help us dream about how do we celebrate that? That's a big deal, a really big deal. Any questions for preschool?
I don't know if people knew that we're losing Head Start.
It was in Matt's.
Was it in Matt's note?
It was, and mine too,
Okay.
but
It
sad.
wasn't anything on our part.
No.
Apparently, the issue was that declining enrollment drove it. And so they're going to combine our site with the Waukesha site and put it at Waukesha. So they love us. It's just that they just don't have enough members to make it work.
They love us and we love having them here. What Chris didn't say is the reason their numbers are declining is because the families can no longer live here. That's a whole nother discussion for another day. But that is really what's going on. We are, okay, I'll just, question in the back, Matt, or Mike.
What happens to the playground?
We don't know yet. I hope it stays, but we don't know.
So that playground was just replaced 2 years ago with federal money, and so it might stay here. It would cost a lot to move it. And also they're combining programs in Waukesha. I don't even know if they have room for it there. So I'm hoping it'll stay, but we don't know. If it doesn't stay, then guess what? We're gonna have a huge fundraiser for a playground for Hearts and Hands Preschool. Any other questions for that? No?
Rich Stubbins, maybe an idea for the playground. We would like to probably head off that they don't sell it to make money. So we would it would be good to ask them, I don't know who, to say we get first right of refusal.
That's a really good point. I did talk to the teacher and let her know we would use anything that they left behind, but I feel like a vulture. I feel like a vulture. But I did talk to I went down to the teachers to talk to them about how saddened we are and what the plans are. The teachers will keep their jobs and go to Waukesha, which is good. Teachers are not losing their jobs, which is good. They do know that we will use whatever they leave behind, but they're a government agency and don't move very fast. So we'll see.
But golly, if we end up paying $10,000 for toilet seats somewhere, then we ought to be able to hold to some playground equipment.
And also, just an aside for that playground, if that becomes ours, we're gonna do something with that fencing to raise it up or something. There are ticks galore there, and that's a whole nother story. All right, any other questions? Otherwise, we can move on to rummage. So talk about dedicated, Jill, my goodness, right? Like the woman was sick, like really, really sick, and texting me and everybody else, I don't know how long, to get that rummage to fly. But it's also like this church came together. Jill wasn't there for like 2 or 3 days, and guess what? The rummage happened, we made a lot of money, and it was cleaned up by 5 o'clock. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So we're still working on getting rid of some of the stuff that's in there. I know some families have come through to take furniture that has been left over, which is really great that we have that service to be able to allow families to come in and need some furniture. Otherwise, no bringing stuff in until June 1st. We still got stuff to do. Mickey, did you have something?
That was it.
Yeah, not till June 1st.
Please, no.
Please, no. We're still organizing.
We're just starting to make sense.
Oh, yeah, and there's dates for November and April, but I don't know what they are, mid-November and late April or something like that. So we'll be at it again.
Right now, Lloyd's got his car full of stuff that we wanted to drop at church because our neighbor just gave us, because he's selling a house. So now either I take it to St. Vinny's or I bring it here.
Yeah, can bring it here.
I'll sneak in the back and I know where to put it.
As long as you know where to put it.
I do know where it goes. Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. Any other questions?
Oh, Cheryl.
Cheryl Hoff. I just want to know if there are still bags of things down there that need to go to Goodwill.
There are lamps that could go, because I think now our families have come through. There are lamps that could go to Goodwill if you want to fill up your car with some lamps. A lot of the Goodwill stuff has been taken, but the lamps would be a thing. And if you see like an end table or a side table that fits in your car, take that too. Because I did not want to throw it away, you guys. So we're going to get rid of it instead of throwing it in a dumpster if we can.
November 16th and April 12th.
Perfect.
So November 16th, we are going to have a second rummage sale. Jill agreed to do it. We weren't going to press her on it, but November 16th and then April 12th of next year. So, cool.
When's Easter next?
It's late. I'll worry about that in 2025. Thanks, Cindy. I don't believe the next 4 committees have anything to add to their reports. That would be legacy, nominating, pastoral relations, and personnel. But if any of those, anyone from those committees has something they want to bring to the congregation's attention, or does any?
I have personnel.
Okay, you want to come up and chat?
At this point, I'm usually groaning if one more person speaks, but our chairperson sent me some info.
Gotcha.
Jeff Van Dam has taken over as chairman of Personnel Committee following, as he calls her, Angel Pat, because Pat has been on this committee for 3 years, can no longer serve as a voting member, 6 years voting member, but she still is a consultant. She just really is so impressive. So Jeff has just written a few things. You probably don't know much about Personnel Committee, and you shouldn't, because a lot of it is confident. It's what we bring into the management of personnel at our church, and that we share ideas, we get information, but we don't put that back out there so that everyone is comfortable knowing they can talk to us, hopefully create change, and have it happen, all without everyone going pss, 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 pss. So that's part of what we do. Jeff actually has written down exactly what I should say, including, "My name is Marty Wiley." I thank him for that. I don't know I get that right.
You really did, didn't you?
Yes, you did. I told you that. Others in the group are Carolyn Crom, Marissa Dom, who is Chris's daughter and has experience in working with personnel and business. So we really look forward to having her on our team too. And Jeff is our chairperson. We meet throughout the year, but mostly we kind of ramp up our activities as we get closer to the end of the year with reviews for personnel. We work against confidentiality and support. At this time, these are some of the things we're working on: updating, if necessary, job descriptions for the staff. Wage recommendations are developed through our team, and we bring that to the budget committee, but it's the budget committee who actually does decide what would be given or not given to the staff. We're also involved with the technology updates for the church, and the church has a company that has reviewed and evaluated and updated our software. It's all very, very technical. It takes a lot of time on our chairpersons, and Pat, willing to serve as consultant, is our blessing to that. So any more information Jeff can share with you at the next meeting. Right now he is in Illinois enjoying seeing his granddaughters at an event. So are there any questions? Please wait for Jeff, or Pat could answer. All I can do is read.
And you read very well.
Yes, you did a very good job.
You got your name right.
Yeah. Barb, does Caring Connection have anything they need to say? All right, cool. All right, thank you. At this time, I'd ask a representative from each of our 4 standing task groups to come forward and discuss their endeavors. Rummage sale, which you've already done, car show, golf outing, and our most recent addition, the mental health task group. So if you would, you 3 would come up and just tell us a little bit about what you're up to.
Good morning, Rochelle Bailing. You already heard from Andy Meckel. A little update about the location, going to be at the Okachi Lions Park, so that's exciting. We had 149 cars last year, so we want to maintain that number, if not grow, so that was the need to move. I would like to thank our sponsors. We have platinum sponsors this year, so we have FX Tinting, Holtz Motors, or Holtz Chevrolet, GMC Buick, I believe. Is that correct? Two Tails Grooming Salon, and Sobelman's is going to do all of our food again this year. We have 2 gold sponsors, which returning is Groscroft Construction and Oconomowoc Realty, so thank you. And we, in our branches, last week was the flyer, and Natalie put on a QR code for our volunteer sign up, and then moving forward, we'll have that in our weekly announcements. So we encourage you to volunteer not only your time, but raffle baskets and food donations like our water and soda and treats and stuff that Sobelman's doesn't provide. So it's June 15th, the Saturday of Father's Day weekend. Any questions? Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Rich Steffens. I'm with the golf outing, and we have it's on August 12th, and I'll just give some highlights. We are going to be the inflation busters because we are keeping the price the same with the same food, with the same selections and everything. So this year, we're keeping the price the same as last year. We don't want to price anybody out of it, and we're just going to keep the price the same. So I think that's an awesome thing that we were able to work out with the golf course and everything. We have 13 people on our committee, which is amazing, and I really appreciate that. And then the last thing, we have an email for the golf outing. If you have suggestions or questions, it's on the bottom. It's fc.ucc.golf@gmail.com. So if you have questions or you want to make suggestions, please use that email. It goes directly to my phone, so I'll be able to give answers, and we'll pass that on year after year so that we can keep a log. Okay. Any questions? Hi, Lois.
Hi. Do I need a microphone again?
Yep, coming.
Lois, I'm just going to come sit next to you.
Lois Jackson. I just want everybody to know that the golf outing is an all-church event. It's not just for golfers. It's not just for people who can donate things. We need volunteers, and your wife, Susan, is the volunteer coordinator this year, and I know she's going to be making an announcement one of these weeks about how important it is for volunteers that day. Everybody in the church could be involved if you can spend an hour or so during the day as a volunteer. It's so important. This has to be an all-church event, not just for the committee or the people who can golf, which I'm not, but I think it's just so important that we spread that news. It's for everybody in our church. Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. And also, I mean, we had 36 people last year that showed up for dinner and without golfing. So it is a great dinner. It's a great time for fellowship. So also, please feel free to sign up and come and join us for dinner and drinks and camaraderie. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Again, I'm Tom Stone, and I'm the chair of our mental health task force. And I wanted to just, in addition to today with the green ribbons, I just want to kind of tell you what we're all about and what we think we're hoping to develop into. It's brand new to us and brand new to our church. So we met in April for our first time as a group. Our team is, in addition to myself, is Amy Drua, Brad Riemann, Deb Bersinger, Susan Steffens, and Brenda Soroka. Great meeting. You know, we rapidly came in. We talked about the need, why we were all passionate about mental health issues, and we rapidly came up with a list of tons of things that we can do to help people with mental health challenges and how our congregation can help. I keep saying we, meaning our task force, but really what we're all about is how can our church congregation help the community and help people with mental health challenges. So we came up with a number of ideas, and I just wanted to kind of read some of them off of our meeting minutes. Our first one was today, just to bring more awareness to mental health challenges. Since May is Mental Health Awareness Month, we gave out the ribbons. Please wear them throughout the month, and just to bring awareness to mental health. Some of the ideas we had were to talk to local organizations that may need platforms for meetings or presentations. There's a lot of organizations out there that help people, whether it's with addictions, with the grieving process, with anxiety, suicide prevention, depression, and we don't know. We don't know what they need yet. So they may need to say, oh, it'd be great, I need to do a presentation for the community, and we just need a place to do it. Well, then we can talk about like maybe using our church facilities for things like that. We talked about having quarterly topics revolved around mental health. And our first one that we have organized now is Brad Riemann is going to do a presentation on Thursday at 6:30 right here at church. So I encourage everybody to attend that. I think it's very important. If everyone knows Brad, I don't know if everybody knows his background, but he's a nationally recognized expert in mental health treatment. He spent a lot of time at Rogers Memorial, and now he has a consulting business. And he is going to talk about the mental health crisis in America, and just to give a background of why it's so important. So I encourage everybody to attend that at 6:30 on Thursday. It's not just for our congregation. If you have friends or anyone that would like to attend, we encourage them to come also. We talked about having events at the church to promote mental health, stress reduction. Maybe it's yoga or healthy eating or meditation, having church walks. There's so many things that each individual can do to help with that, with their mental health. I had last year I had attended a class on mental health first aid training. And what that is for people that are not mental health professionals, but it's just geared towards helping recognize when somebody may be having a mental health challenge. And I thought it was extremely useful. I've used the information in there several times already, and it's just people that have mental health challenges a lot of times feel like there's no help. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to get help from. And going through this training for me, I learned how to approach people, how to help them to mental health professionals that can help them. So I think it was very important. So we talked about several people on our task force at least going through that training. And then maybe as we go forward, maybe someone in a congregation could get trained to provide that training, so we could train other people in our church. So those are the kind of things that we're about. Like I said, we're not a bunch of mental health professionals. We're not trying to be, but it is just very important to us that people realize that how important mental health is, and it's a portion of health in general. So that's what we're about, and there'll be more to come, and maybe in the fall meeting we'll have more to report on. But if anybody has any questions or comments or feedback, let us know.
Tom, I think this is terrific. I'm glad you've got this committee going. And I don't see it on the upcoming events on the back of the bulletin. And what I want to say is I am so thrilled to have this list of upcoming events every Sunday. I think that so far it's pretty new, and so far the committees and the person who does the upcoming events don't always coordinate yet. But thank you for trying, because I think it's great to have it, and I'm glad you mentioned Brad's meeting.
Yeah, actually Brenda noticed that today too, and she mentioned that it wasn't on the upcoming events. I don't know how I do that. Do I need to communicate that?
To Natalie.
To communicate to her. Okay, so we will definitely do that.
For a long time, we didn't have our music rehearsals on there either. I mean, they're there now, and it's great to see.
Yep.
Any other
Anybody else?
questions?
Will that be in the sanctuary or in Fellowship Hall or the music room or where?
In Fellowship Hall is what we're thinking. I'm not sure how we're going to set it up yet, so we're going to plan that out. If we need to do a lot of chair setup, or it's hard to predict how many people we're going to have for it, so
Will you need help with that?
probably.
What's the
If you
date
volunteer.
again?
This Thursday.
Okay.
Yep, it's in the branches. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Thank you all for your dedicated service. The last report is mine, and it's your moderator and chair of the leadership team. So I'm either your ace reliever coming in at the bottom of the ninth, or the biblical sacrificial lamb being led to the slaughter. I'll let you decide. As I mentioned in my written report, the leadership team has been busy trying to push forward the team's goals while trying to keep the church focused on our broader mission. And so far, I think we're doing a pretty good job with those endeavors. In February, we held the all-ministry meeting, where members of all the ministries came together and co-jointly built the church calendar for the remainder of the year. And what I saw happen that evening were ministries actually talking to each other and figuring out ways how each group could foster the others or improve the others group's activities. So we were breaking down silos there. At the same time, we've been working on making our new relational covenant relevant, not just another document to be filed away. Improved communication between ministries and members, I think we've done well, check. Under my direction and with leadership team's approval, we have engaged the services of a dedicated computer consultant who has significantly improved the stability and security of our church's IT infrastructure. This has allowed the staff to concentrate on our jobs and not worry if the computer's going to be crash in the next hour. So that's improved staff efficiency, check. Last Saturday, our church hosted the first time joint Southeast and Southwest Association meeting of the Wisconsin Conference. And by all accounts, it was a great success. Our church facilities and the welcoming manner were showcased before nearly 100 other Wisconsin UCC churches. Reaching out beyond our walls and engaging the community was another goal, check. All in all, I firmly believe we're moving in the church in a positive direction, and I want to thank Matt, Amy, Carl, and all the church staff on their incredible dedication to the church and to Christ's mission. I also want to thank you all for all your hard work, be it serving nearly 200 visitors last Saturday, sorting or selling rummage, volunteering in church school, or all the other actions that make the church go. As my mother would say, all your good work will mean another jewel in your crown when you get to heaven. So a lot of you have a lot of jewels in your crown. And does anyone have any questions of me? If there's anyone, does anyone have any additional information or questions they want to bring up, any general questions that haven't been addressed? There being no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Mike Hoff, Bob Johnson is second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion's carried and we are adjourned. 1 hour, guys, 1 hour.